Hello everybody, welcome and get some booms in the chat for this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament wind. Make sure that you comment in the comment section below if you do have any questions. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You can find a button on the right side of the screen here. Click it, subscribe, and be a part of the community. Also, get the ultimate tournament text guide so you, together with me and many others, can crush tournaments here in Golf Clash. And subscribe to Patreon, link in the video description down below. Also, get all the information for free in Golf Clash content by going to the website golfclashtommy.com. And in this playthrough, you will be watching 9 holes with some interesting approaches, but also a lot of drops. We do have a drop on hole number 1, we do have a drop on hole number 3, we do have a drop on hole number 5, and also hole number 4. So there is a lot of drops to take from, and also the rest are very close. So enjoy, and let's go hole 1. For hole number 1 here in Pro, we are going to use 6 topspin and 4.5 bar side spin to the right. And we're going to focus on choosing the driver that gives us 6 topspin minimum. If you do have an extra mile or a Thor's Hammer or an Apocalypse that gives you that, I don't care. Just choose the driver that gives you 6 bars topspin. Stretch out by, with the spin added, to see the second bounce on the fairway and the third bounce going above the bunker, so it would hit the rough. And then you release, you adjust your shot, push up your target to max, and then use as little overpower as shown here on the game screen. Then it's going to bounce, bounce into the rough, and then roll out. Obviously, sometimes you might be unlucky in falling short, or you go too long, and then you will have to deal with it from the position you are, which is going to be in the rough or into the sand. But I would take that shot all day and every day instead of try to lay up on the right hand side. Just a little thing there as well that I need to add. The Titan ball is added as, for those of you don't having the Berserker ball, then you can play with a Titan, but then you need to go with max overpower, or at least very close to it. So a Berserker ball to reduce overpower is, in my opinion, absolute key to make a safe eagle here on hole number 1. For hole number 2, we're going to play on the right hand side, playing with a power 3 ball to make sure that we don't have to go with overpower. And now we're using 4.5 bar side spin to the left, aiming approximately with the ball guideline around 1 ring from the rough there to the left. And now I'm going to change and play 4 bars of topspin, very important. 4.5 bar or even more would potentially put yourself to roll into the rough, and that would not be good. Then you would most likely be dead when it comes to reaching for the green in 2. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and then we're going to go without any overpower and curl. And the ball, as you will see here now, is going to bounce on the fairway over the rough and then roll on the other fairway. And 4 bars topspin looks very, very nice here. For the second shot, we want to make sure that we do have a sniper that gives us at least a 3 to 4 bars topspin. This to make sure that if we go short with a drive, that we can reach without having to go with overpower. And now the sniper level 9 is going to be perfect, but you can also do with a sniper level 6, level 7 without any issues whatsoever. Now I'm using a little bit of topspin. I should not have done that here. It is very important that you leave your ball guideline short, because the tailwind here will push your ball big time going towards the pin. So we are adjusting without any elevation, and we play it max distance, and this adjustment obviously could change a little bit depending on what type of distance we're gonna get. We get it close, but in the end, you know, we came in way too hot, and therefore we're not getting it in the hole. For hole number 3, we are going to choose either the sniper or the guardian. What will decide to which club to choose? It's the backspin. 6.5 bar backspin is a must, and that you will get with sniper level 9 or level 10. If you don't have that, you change to the guardian, because I strongly believe this is going to be the best possible way to play this course. 20% over adjustment, and even though we're not in max distance, we're going to play with max distance number, which is 8.1 rings. So, I'm going to talk you through the structure after we have been seeing the shot here for the first time. You're gonna see the shot one more time here. So, we get the hole in one, but we're gonna restart the video and take it again from the start. So, the first thing we start with is to add the backspin. So first, directly 6.5 bar backspin as fast as you can. Then we get to look at the blue ring being by the fringe with the ball guideline to the hole. That's the 2 reference points we're looking for. Then after that, we are adding 1 bar of side spin to the left together with the backspin. So we start with max backspin to find the position. Then we are applying max backspin 1 left. And then we adjust and we take our shot. And I strongly believe that this is either going to be in or it's going to be absolutely on the edge of the cup. And I play with a navigator which is a power 1. So if you're gonna play with a different ball, play with a power 1 but with a different wind resistance. Otherwise the adjustment will be slightly different if you have a different power on your ball. So for hole number 4, I'm going to show you a bit silly way here as a start, where I'm actually trying to go for green. 6 bars top spin and as much side spin to the left possible. Put myself into max, approx 1 ball of curl outside to the left, and then max overpower full blast. And you can see we're actually getting this one kind of close. And, you know, it is a little hit and miss here. You know, if we get it to the green, sure, fine, that's gonna be awesome. But most likely you're gonna end up somewhere around the green. But I at least wanted to show you before I'm showing you the way that I'm going to play most of the time. Because I like when we get consistency. I don't like when we go full blast and get ourselves around the green. And then we have a rough fire and then a sand wedge. And then we do have a wedge the other time. So, 3 bars top spin is what I'm having here first. But at the same time, I do want us to go into max distance. You can play with a Titan, you can play with a Kingmaker, doesn't really matter. We are out for the power 3 to make this drive as simple as possible. I'm using 1 bar top spin and as much side spin to the right possible, but I would strongly aware you to change and go and only play with 4.5 bar side spin to the right. This too will give ourselves, once again, a way of consistency, and it will prevent us from, if we do hit great right, we will not fall down into the rough, because if we hit great right with that shot, we most likely will fall down into the rough, and then it's going to be very, very hard. Second shot, I play with the Goliath or the Grizzly. I would say the Grizzly if you have it in level 7+, because then you have a 4.4 ball guideline, and that is super valuable. 1 bar top spin and 2 bars right side spin, and we aim for the hole. Have in mind now that now we are playing with the Goliath, so if we do have a Grizzly, we need to have the ball guideline to go slightly more through the hole, as the ball guideline with the Goliath is a little bit worse than what we do have in the Grizzly. Make sure now that you do adjust for the distance of your club. So in this situation here, I played medium distance with a 10% over adjustment. We're gonna bounce in the rough, and we're gonna roll, and we're gonna take the curve, get this one in nicely for a 360 eagle. Rough bump, in my opinion, is absolute best way with the wind that we're having to get the eagle on hole number 4. For hole number 5, we're going to obviously not play with a power 5 ball. We're going to play with a Kingmaker here. And I do feel that the Kingmaker is the best ball, as then we can stay away from playing with a wind 5 ball and something like that. I play with the blue ring slightly inside the rough with 5 bars backspin, 2 bars side spin to the right, and I aim directly at the hole. Then I play maximum distance number, even though we're not in max distance, it's max distance with a 35% over adjustment. And this ball coming in right at the pin for a beautiful hole in one. So a big reason why I'm using the Kingmaker here is to reduce the wind. When we do have such a high elevation, with a great shot, the ball is going to fly left or fly right. And I want to reduce the wind so we stay away and have no problem getting to the pin in 2. If you do have a sniper level 7, 8, 9, 10, then you can play this shot Otherwise, I would suggest you to change to the Guardian. For hole number 6, we are going to play with a driver that is going to be the Extra Mile, Thor's Hammer, or Apocalypse. Doesn't matter. We just need to have 4.5 bar side spin minimum, which is a Titan or a Kingmaker, and then we're going to play this shot with... I play it with 4 bars of top spin though, but I want us to play with 3.5. 3.5 is going to be perfect. We're gonna bounce over, use the tailwind, get ourselves into a nice Goliath range. 10% over adjustment is enough, or like is a must, I must say. And even though I play with a Kingmaker here, you don't have to play with the Kingmaker. You can play with a Titan, but a big reason why I want to have the Kingmaker is to, if I go short with my drive, I don't want to go in between clubs. And that's the same reason why I choose the Goliath. It might not be the most accurate long iron, it might not be the best ball guideline, but it gives us distance. So if you have the Goliath or the B52, but the B52 in level 6 minimum, then those are the clubs that you're choosing between. Because with a Grizzly, Saturn, or a Backbone, you're most likely gonna end up in between clubs many of the times, and then you're gonna curse yourself for not curse yourself, you're gonna curse towards yourself that you did choose the wrong long iron. No elevation for the second shot, and then the spin adjustment for the second shot is a little bit of top spin and then 2 bars of side spin to the right. You can change that depending on the distance of your drive, so don't steer yourself blind with that spin adjustment, as you know, in the end, distance of your drive is kind of changing what you're using for the second shot. But very, very good chance making an albatross here on hole 6. Hole number 7, we are going to take the route on the right hand side, and here I want you to choose the driver that gives you the most distance from the start. In my case it's Extra Mile, but obviously those of you having a driver that is more superior, that give you more distance and more top spin, is going to have an easier time, even though with the driver here it's not going to be impossible, far from it. Max top spin and as much side spin to the right possible, then I adjust my target with a max distance plus 10%, and then I push up, sometimes into max, sometimes just 2 rings. It all depends on what club you have, so measure that before you take your shot. You stretch out to look at where you want your ball to bounce, and then you push up the appropriate amount of rings that is needed before you take your drive. 10% for the second shot as well, and the reason we are using 10% is to compensate for the wind. Having crosswind makes obviously us having a secondary bounce effect, and therefore we are going to use 10% here to compensate for that, so we can stick with aiming at the pin. Problem though, that now we are in 75% of our club, but I'm playing it as I were in max. And therefore it's going to be a miss, and we're gonna miss on the right hand side. So we really need to make sure that we're playing it based on the distance of our short iron. No matter if it's a thorn or a horn, it doesn't matter, but that is very important. With a 10% over adjustment, super good opportunity for an eagle here, and I do believe we will see a lot of eagles here on hole number 7. For hole number 8, the final par 3 in this playthrough, we are going to play the rough bump here, and I want us to play with a katana to give ourselves a little side spin, but also reduce the wind. I want to stay away from using a Kingmaker here, even though it's definitely a viable option. 3 bars side spin to the right, and then we are looking for the ball guideline to the hole. But the problem we're having here though is that we will fall short, as we're going to adjust from a higher point to a slightly lower point. So in that case we do need to add a little top spin. So if we're adding like half a bar of top spin, making sure that the ball guideline is going through the hole, that's going to be the absolute best. In this example, we do see myself playing this one without any elevation, medium distance, and based by this shot hitting great left and still rolling short, which we otherwise would most likely miss right, then I would say that we're going to play this one 10% over adjustment and medium distance as a start. And we will see if we can't get this hole dialed in. Very tough par 3, but definitely a good chance. So for hole number 9, we're going to play on the right hand side here, and this because we're going to give ourselves the absolute easiest time getting the eagle, at least if going to the right. Disregard that I play with an Apocalypse level 5, which for many is a very high level of the Apocalypse playing in Pro, but obviously for those of you that have it, then that is perfect to get to watch here. Otherwise you will do fine with an Apocalypse level 1 plus. And I want us to play with a driver that gives us at least 5 bars of topspin to make sure that we're getting the distance enough. I would say the quarterback would be an option if you're not having any Apocalypse, but then you will have to be prepared on overpowering your shot. Make sure that you go with curl, approximately 1.5 ball in curl outside the adjustment range to the right, and try to mirror the drive there. But we do need to get distance if we're going to play with our sniper, and that's why I do have the big dog as a suggested option as well. As for having headwind, the drive becomes so much more important, so you're getting the distance that you're needed for the second shot to play with the sniper. But in the end, if you do not want to find yourself with risking going too short with your second, and having to overpower your second shot, choose the big dog or choose the Cataclysm so you get yourself the distance. 10% over adjustment on actually a very tough par 5 now when they are giving us a headwind here from start. So this was hole number 9. So everybody, thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Pro Division in the Pacific Cup. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. If you like it, hit thumbs up. Also, get the ultimate tournament text guide so you can, together with me, crush the tournaments here in Golf Clash by subscribing to Patreon. Link in the description down below. Thank you so much once again for watching, and good luck.